when a business owner come to Australia on 188 visa, either 188 A, B, C, E, they need to fulfill the requirements to apply for AAA. What are the requirements? Uh, Simply, if I can say, first thing, you have to enter within a certain time frame, which is called fast entry date. You must enter with your family members. And the law is that you can enter with your family members, or the family members can enter later, which means like you can come and the later family members come, but they all must make first entry within the time frame first time. Your family member cannot come before you. For example, you are busy and the family member wants to come start schooling with the family and kids, but you cannot come, that they cannot actually enter to Australia if you are not with them. So you must come with them, or you come before and they come later. So that's first thing. And second thing, once you come to Australia, you need to meet few requirements. Number one is obviously you need to register your company, which we will discuss with Mr. Chanchal Kumar Mandal today. And then you look for your business, which we'll have a discussion with Mr. Sayem Razzak. And then once you purchase the business or you started the business, you have to run the business for 2 years. That's number one. You have to run the business for 2 years. Number two, you have to invest at least 200,000 Australian dollar into your business in the second year. So, for example, if you have less money to start, for example, 100,000, you can start and that will be counted. So, it's no good to wait. It's always good that you start with whatever. If it is small, if it is big, you start because it starts counting. But when you fulfill the requirement, for example, like $200,000 into business, then it starts counting the second year, for example. So this business investment must be $200,000 into second year or first year, is up to you. And then you run this business for 2 years, and then you have to make a turnover, 300,000 Australian dollar turnover per year in the second year. So first year you started with 100,000, something small business. Your turnover is 200,000. It still counts as a first year. So second year you have to fulfill the business investment 200,000. Turnover is 300,000 Australian dollar, which is quite easy. $300,000 is nothing compared to, because I have seen many businesses which doing turnover more than, let's say, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, like this. So $300,000 is nothing. And then you have two other options to fulfill, is option A or option B. Either you have to invest more in the second year to make it total 600, or you have to employ 2 full-time Australian PR or citizen staff into your business into the second year. And they must not be relevant to you, like no relative, no friends' wives, or not someone. I can see someone else joining, Alamin Hussein. Good morning. So if I just make it summary, let's say you need to come, you need to start your business, whatever amount it is. First year you run with a small amount, that's okay, but obviously we advise you start with a sufficient amount of investment. If you cannot, but do not wait, please start so that your time starts counting. So you are not late in the end. So business investment is $200,000 minimum. You can do more. Minimum, run the business for 2 years, and then make the turnover $300,000 in the second year. And then you have option A or B. Make another investment of 400,000 extra to make it total 600, or you employ 2 full-time. When people cannot fulfill one of these, for example, they invested but their turnover is not good enough, or they invested, turnover is good enough, but for example they did not stay. For example, they did not stay. So stay requirement is at least 1 year out of recent 2 years. So that time they need an extension. Or if they're late to start their business, for example, they started their business in the second year, end of second year, so they have 3 and 4 to fulfill. But for some reason, fourth year was not so good, so they did not meet the requirement of their turnover, as we are discussing. So in many instances, we can see that people start late or they do not fulfill the requirements. And then they have to have no other option but to apply for an extension. So when you apply for an extension, it's not like I have the concept, like, people call me and say, I cannot come for first, 4 years. I could not come and I could not do any business. Can you please extend for 2 years? Extension does not work like this. Extension works if first thing, genuine intention. They have to say that you tried to fulfill the requirements, but you failed. For example, you started the business, run the business, but you could not make investment. For example, you started with 100,000 and you continued it for 4 years. That means you could not make 600 investment. You could not make staff requirements, and then it's a genuine case that they need to extend you for extra 2 years, and then you can apply, invest more, and fulfill the requirement. Then apply. So applying to PR, which is AAA, you must fulfill all the requirements. It's not like some exemptions. But when you cannot fulfill the requirement, you can apply for extension. But if you did not do anything, if you did not come, if you stay in your country and you could not come, you came, let's say, for 2 weeks holiday and you could not start anything, and you did run nothing, no business, or your family came but you did not start the business, then you cannot apply for extension. And another thing I'm going to discuss about is COVID concession. COVID concession came in place on 19th of September 2020. So that's that time COVID concession came in place, and it says the COVID concession period, like, from date until date. COVID concession period is 1st of February 2020 till the date when they will close it. When they announce that, okay, for example, next year June is ending, still you have 3 more months from that date. So there is no end date at the moment. There is a start date, 1st of February 2020 it started. It's been announced on 19th of September 2020. So there is a COVID concession period at the moment. What COVID concession period is giving to you is, for example, someone started the business, but they went to overseas and they got stuck. They could not come back, for example. So they're running the business from overseas on the phone, email. They're trying to meet the requirements, but they cannot fulfill the requirement of stay requirement. For example, recent 1 year stay out of 2 years, and they're overseas. So what COVID concession first thing says that if you are in overseas and you cannot come during the COVID period of time, we will consider it as you are staying in Australia. So your residency will be waived, and for that you need to apply to the state government and federal government separately. So there is a process to apply for it. That's one thing for COVID concession. Second thing, for example, for COVID concession, you came to Australia, you started the business, you running the business, but COVID hit your business and you cannot make the $300,000 turnover, but you're doing everything else. Then you can apply for COVID concession. Means even it is not $300,000 turnover, but they may say, okay, from the turnover looking into what you have achieved before, if there was no COVID, we think that you could achieve 300,000. So they can waive this requirement and they can approve you to make application. That's another COVID concession thing. Third thing, COVID concession is saying, for example, for example, today is your visa expiry. You came to Australia, You came to Australia. On your third year, you started the business, but you could not make 2 years. Even last year was terrible. You could not have a good turnover, no business, nothing, and your visa is now expiring. So at the moment, what you can do, you can say, okay, I applied COVID concession for an extension of another 2 years, just for COVID concession, because I have started. Again, I'm saying if you have not started anything, it will be very, very hard to prove and satisfy the department that you are a genuine business owner, intends to come and stay in Australia, do business in Australia, and reside in Australia. So my point is that when you get the visa, you must make your first move to come. You should come immediately, as soon as possible. Make your first entry, start register your business, start doing something, even it is small. Do not wait for something that, okay, I will do it after 2 years. Now, first 2 years I'm busy, I'm running my own business in overseas. Second, third year, fourth year, I kept for Australia. Never do this, because you never know what will happen on third year and fourth year. It's not good, and it demerits your application in future, because it shows that you are not genuinely interested to come and stay in Australia. So even you meet all the requirements, the numbers are okay. Sometimes case officer may say, no, I think he is not, for example, genuine, because there is a test. It says you have to have a genuine intention to stay and reside in Australia, call Australia home in future, and continue your business. For example, you applied for your business, and then you say, okay, I just want to stop doing business. That's not acceptable. You have to continue it until you get your PR granted. Once your PR is granted, then it is up to you. You want to do business, or you want, maybe some people wants to do job even, not like businessmen, some youngster, they want to do job. All is approved after your PR is approved. All you can do is not restriction. But before you get your PR, while you are waiting for the process, you cannot just stop your business and do something like I'm doing nothing. I'm looking for. It's not possible. So that was pretty much all from my side, and I can see my time is running almost 21 minutes, and I just want to say that there is a new visa is coming to Australia, which is 188E. At the moment, there is 188E, but it is going to be changed from 1st of July. So what Immigration Minister announced on 17th of December 2020 in Parliament, they announced this. They say that current 188E visa, which is entrepreneur visa, will be replaced by 188E with the new requirements. The old requirement, which is at the moment in place, is, it says that you have to have a business plan. You have to have $200,000 funding from the state government or venture capital fund, and you have to have IELTS 6. There's 3 requirements. The applicant needs to have IELTS 3, 6 in each one, have great business plan, which is approved by the state government, and they have to get funding from the government. So it is really hard. It is really hard to, you may have IELTS, you may have great business plan, but it is really hard and not practical. I haven't seen any that they got fund from the Australian government before they come to Australia. It is very hard. So what government is changing from 1st of July is, they said, okay, this $200,000 can be your own money, which means there are many young business owners, like who just started business, for example, or they started doing job, but they have good idea of doing business in future, and they have financial support from maybe their parents or themselves. They can have IELTS 6 in each pen, number one. Number two, they have a business plan, which we can help through our business planning team. And number three, they have their own $200,000 to invest in Australia. These 3 things, and they get 188E visa, which is quite new. And we already started receiving at least 7 applications over the last 2 weeks. So we are receiving all these applications now. We're preparing the business plan so that on 1st of July we can submit everyone. So 1st of July we'll be submitting to the state government with the business plan, and that will show that they have already $200,000 of their own money to implement the business. So this is something quite exciting. We're looking forward that we'll be working on this one with entrepreneurs, which is much easier compared to 188A or B. And I think if I have more questions, I'll be answering.